Now my next guest today has spoken about her struggles with the menopause and how it has impacted her physically and mentally. Now Penny Lancaster is taking part in an emotional new campaign.
Rod, you know, ushering the kids out of the room at the time, but also within 5 minutes, them coming back in. Putting their arms around me and saying, "It's going to be okay, Mummy." You know, Rod saying, "I know Mummy's having a hard time. Hormones, just like when you have your period, but it's a lot worse."
And Penny joins me now. Very tough to watch, Penny, and of course will resonate with all women.
Yes.
And, you know, whether you've gone through it, you're about to go through it, or will go through it, it is a conversation that we have to have and we have to keep open, because we're all going to suffer at some point and we need to know how to deal with that.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, the conversation is where it's at, and Wellbeing of Women are an incredible charity that are the force behind this new campaign. And as you said, once women are able to open up and share their stories, then others feel less alone. Seeing that common thread, not every single woman suffers the same way. Mm-hmm. Some manage to sort of find almost excuses, I think, as to maybe some of the bad times that they're going through in their life. I remember thinking, well, you know, maybe it was because my husband was diagnosed with prostate cancer, maybe it was because my father had a heart attack, or maybe because it's lockdown, or maybe I'm feeling this way, and you're constantly in denial. I think one of the things is like maybe you're thinking, I'm not getting that old. How can it be menopause? I'm not ready for that.
Yeah, because you had that real sense of, I don't want to lose the old Penny.
Yes, yes.
And that's a big thing to deal with, because suddenly you do feel like you're entering into this other chapter that maybe you're just not quite ready for.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, so when I first had my symptoms, it was during lockdown. So initially I thought maybe I've got COVID because of the heat, the flushes. But it wasn't just, you know, oh, you know, give me a minute. I mean, they were disrupting my sleep, so then I couldn't function during the day. But the moment I started having that conversation, you know, it's so important for us women to chat. We love having a little chat and a gossip over a coffee. And we need to be encouraged to talk about the more embarrassing things. A lot of the symptoms of the menopause, and it wasn't until I spoke with the ladies on Loose Women that they said, "I recognise what you're going through, Penny," because my doctor, unknown to him, obviously the symptoms of a menopause, he gave me antidepressants. So I was on them for a long time until I got HRT.
Which masked a lot of the symptoms, but certainly didn't deal with the underlying issues. And that's the big point as well. It's our doctors and our medical team behind all of us that also need to know the symptoms and to be able to get in there quickly with a diagnosis, and if HRT is the right thing for you, get it prescribed.
Yes, yes. Like you said, if it's the right thing for you, it won't always work for every woman, depending on their background. But the NHS do offer free health checks from the age of 40. So what we need to really implement now is that simple checklist, which Wellbeing of Women charity are trying to pull together, this basic checklist that can be in every GP's office. So when the women do go in for that free NHS Women health check, then that's one of the things that can go through that tick list. And they give that service every 5 years. So how great to go in at 40 and then at 45. I mean, you're rather younger than I am, but maybe, you know, you might be even, you know, feeling the symptoms.
Penny, I've done it recently where I've gone for one of these checks as well, and at the moment sort of ticking along okay. But I actually thought even before it starts, I think it's a sensible thing to do if you can, to know where you're at.
Yes.
And then you can see how it changes as you get older, and potentially then be able to manage the changes. And so I've done it for exactly that reason.
Brilliant. Yeah, keeping a diary of those moments where you feel fragile and you don't feel yourself, because they can create a pattern, and that can be a really close linked to finding out what it is you're actually dealing with.
And you feel very passionate about HRT being free for all women. For long enough, it was a postcode lottery.
Yes.
And then it's become very expensive for a lot of people as well. Is to try and have it. It is such a necessity for so many women. We're losing so many women at the prime of their careers out of the workforce. It's like 900,000 women have had to leave their jobs because of menopause.
Exactly.
That is ludicrous.
Well, it's, you know, it's obviously half the population are dealing with it, as well as men, and the families that are dealing with the women that are suffering. And it would be the NHS, talking back to them again, 70% of them are females. So we can't afford to lose any more nurses from the NHS. And it just seems we're not asking for extra, we're just asking for our hormones back. We're asking to feel normal.
Absolutely.
So if the government could just give us what they've promised and bring in, with ideally free HRT, but if not, a huge discount on it.
Yeah.
Because it's just too much, especially the way things are right now.
Of course, Penny, you credit as well being on HRT and starting to feel like yourself.
Yes.
The reason that you are now a police officer,
Yes.
which is remarkable. After all those months of training, you're out on the streets and you're doing your thing, and there you are.
Yeah, I mean, yes, it's HRT. I feel like has credited me and given me a new lease of life.
This is you at the Queen's funeral. In fact, you were one of
Yes.
15,000 officers who were policing the streets that day to keep everyone safe.
Yes, that's the red and white. That's the city police who I'm with. It's the square mile. But when it comes to big events like this, they need resources from all over. And that was my passing out parade, which was a wonderful occasion for friends and family, and to be recognised and get a certificate. You know, I love London. It's steeped with history and tradition.
Yeah.
And yeah, I got a new lease of life and started a new career.
Wonderful.
And like you said, so many women have to give up their career. So
it can be done.
here's
That's
to
exactly
champion.
what it is. And that's what the
HRT.
campaign's all about. Penny, thank you so much.
Thank
As always,
you so
we
much,
could
Sally.
talk all day,
Oh,
we
we
know
could.
that,
We
but
certainly could.
sadly not. But anyway, we'll do it again soon. Thank you so much,
Thank
Penny.
you.
Send our love to everybody, Rod and all the family, of course.